Hello, Gun Nation. Big Johnson coming at you. Let's get into this. We've got the Steiner MPS versus the ACRO P-2. Everybody has been asking, which one do you like the best? You know, which one does this, which one does that? So I'm just going to give you a bunch of my information, my, items that I'm seeing and things like that, and let you make your own decision. But I have a lot of time behind both of these guns. As y'all all know, this is my Staccato C2 with the Threat Cadre comp, the X300 Turbo. Do have the ACRO P2 as we talked about. This does have the Dawson Precision ACRO plate and an Atlas trigger. Now we're going to get into this Dawson Precision ACRO plate in just a second. Then here we've got the Staccato CZ P10F with the X300, the Steiner MPS, and this is the ACRO P2 plate by Aimpoint. So they make it, and this Steiner fits on it perfectly. Back to this plate, the Dawson Precision plate. I actually talked to Aimpoint when I bought the P2, and they said the P2 will fit the Aimpoint P1 plate. So I ordered the plate from Staccato, or from Dawson Precision. Put it on there, all of that. Put this on there, my ACRO P2, and it was a little crooked. And I was like, this isn't right. So I kind of looked at it, and it was a little tilted. So I got with Dawson, and I was like, something's not right here. So anyway, they were like, oh yeah, we're coming out with an ACRO P2 plate or a new plate that will handle both of them. Didn't have the correct cut. So I got with them, I had purchased that plate. And anyway, they had sent me the new prototype plate, and that's what's on this gun now for the ACRO P2 and supposedly the ACRO P1. After I put that plate on there, worked perfectly, completely flush, no issues. So I think they've updated this on their website and everything, but the new Dawson plate that's been out for a while now, it fits perfect for the P2. So I'm sure y'all are already aware of that, but I was kind of the guinea pig on that. All right, as y'all know, or may not know, this has been my daily carry for quite a while now. I really love this gun. The C2, some people were like, oh, the CS, my hand size, I need this to get my secondary purchase on here. I like the little bit wider grip, or it's not wide to me, but, the original C2. The Aimpoint P2. Okay, just so y'all know also, a lot of people may not know, I've been testing this forever. What this is it is the Aimpoint P2 cover made by Aimpoint. So you put it on the front, it blocks any kind of brass flying, anything like that. It actually tilts this way or all the way back. So, you can see it right there. No scratches, no nothing. Then you just pop it down so it'll sit like this, which is kind of weird. Or you can just depress it this way, it'll snap there, and it'll snap there. So then it's completely snapped. It has this little notch on the top, and I thought, well, that's going to be, as I'm drawing it and things, that's going to cause an issue. However, been carrying it like this for probably 6 or 7 or 8 months. I don't know, a long time, with this little clip cover over it, and had not one issue. In order to take it off, you just take it and it kind of depresses and slides right off, and then you snap it back on and press it in right there. So you can remove it easily. The dot, y'all all are familiar with this. Hopefully you can see it on video. Trying to get you a picture of it. There it is right there. The dot, some people say, the 3 MOA dot or 3.5 MOA dot is not a good dot. Actually, I prefer it myself with my dual astigmatisms. Some of the bigger dots kind of look like double the size to me, so it's a personal preference. I've marked this. When I put this on, I mark all of these. Never moved, so had no issue there. Does co-witness with the Dawson Precision. This does kind of come up and block a little bit, but man, you still have a ton of window, as y'all can see right there. The thing about this is some people say it gives you a tunneling or a tube effect. However, what I notice is when I draw it, and as I'm coming out like this, I'm seeing the side here, which is drawing my eye to the back, and then as I come up, I'm on target, you know, blah, blah, blah. So this side, how it's wider here, I guess more like a tube on both of these, as I'm drawing, this is kind of an eye. It's weird to explain, but this actually kind of like gets my eye on the side here, and as I'm coming back, it guides my eye right to the dot. You know, it's very hard to explain, but I don't mind the tube effect. I don't really even get a tube effect. Some people do, or have said they do. Now this is kind of wide and chunky, you know, as some people have said. I would agree with that. And it does kind of have a smaller window, but I think it's larger than some. I mean, it might be maybe like an RMR type window, actually, I guess, if you really want to come down to it. And I don't like the RMR. However, with this, I do. You know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Your buttons are very tactile. Your adjustments are very tactile. However, you do have a Torx bit to adjust it, which isn't common that a lot of people carry around. So that's kind of one knock against it, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But it's very robust. A lot of people say, how in the hell do you carry it? Because it's so big. It's a mailbox. However, here's the holster. It's a Tenacore, and it does carry. I carry it with the X300. Snaps in, as you can see. Don't have any issues there. Snaps right down. I do carry in the appendix. Have had zero issues with it. You know, I guess printing. I'm not worried about printing, but I've had no issues with that. Carries very well. Both of these do. And I've had no issues. So it's just something to think about if you're concerned. If you can carry like an RMR or something like that, this really doesn't add any more bulk like some people claim. Or it doesn't for me. Let's just rephrase it that way. So, but is this a great option? Yes. I think the Aimpoint is probably the most battle-proven, you know, red dot in the world. I think we all know that. This one has been perfect so far, and I have not had to replace a battery at all, and it's on constantly. It just runs and runs and runs. I mean, you can crank it up, crank it down, whatever you want to do. Of course, it does have night vision. I personally don't have night vision myself, so it doesn't really come into play there. But I love this dot. You know, I have no issues with it. This dot is smaller window than that dot. We'll get into it here in just a second. But if you have any questions on the C2, and let me ask you this now. Would you run this gun as an EDC or that gun as an EDC? Do you prefer this dot if you have any experience with the P-2 over the Steiner MPS? I'd really love to know. Leave your comments below. But now let's get into the CZ. And if y'all are interested in these lock grip stands, I'll actually leave a link below. And you can use my discount code. It's BJGG10. BJGG10, all caps, and that'll save you 10% off any of your grips, stands, whatever you choose from Lock Grips. But let's get into this one now. All right, the CZ P10F. Love this gun. You know, I love the P10 series. I have two P10Cs, one P10F. No issues with any of them. They run like crazy. All right, I got the P10F, or I got the Steiner to put on my P10F, so I did buy the Aimpoint ACRO plate, and it is designed for the CZ P10C or F. Put the plate on it, and I've been running it for quite a while now. Now some people will say, oh my gosh, there's a tiny, tiny gap right there. You know, oh my gosh. If you look, there is a tiny, tiny gap right there. However, if you're not OCD, it doesn't come into play. I've never had an issue with it, so it is what it is. Also, I get asked all the time, do these sights co-witness with the Steiner? No, they really don't. I mean, I guess, you know, you can lollipop it kind of a little bit on the top, but a true co-witness, no, it does not. Not like those do. So, but it is what it is. Okay, and just so you know, I purchased this Steiner MPS from Texas Gun Experience. You know, I was waiting, thinking, should I get one? Should I get one? Should I get one? And I did. And it was the very last one they had, and it was a display one. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. Well, Steiner actually has two versions. They have the earlier version and they have the later version of the MPS. They did an upgrade. I didn't really know that at the time. So I purchased the MPS from Texas Gun Experience as their demo model. I got it home, put it on the gun, started running it, started playing around with it, dry firing it, things like that. And I was like, I can't get it to stay on all the time. It actually has an auto shut off after I think 10 or 11 hours. Well, I read on the Steiner thing and you could actually program it out. So I did the exact, setup with the way Steiner said it, did it. It wouldn't flash. So I'm like, So then I called Steiner. I gave them the serial number of this dot and they said, oh, that is an earlier one. It cannot be programmed. So it will go off after like 10 or 12 hours and you just tap one of these buttons and it pops right back on. So I have the older model because it was the display. I guess Texas Gun Experience didn't rotate their stock, which is not a big deal. And this is the one that I have. So that really has nothing to do with the dot. Most of the ones you're going to get are going to be the newer generations. But if you have one of the older generations, just be aware that it does have an auto shut off. But you just simply tap one of the up and down buttons and it pops right back on. So I have tapped it this morning and it is on. So there you go. Also, the way that you can tell, this has a flush battery cover. The other ones have more of a dome battery cover. So that will be a Gen 2, and I found that out from Steiner. Mine is the Gen 1. The other one is the Gen 2. So there's the battery cover. Also, they only recommend taking this off with the tool. If you use a flathead screwdriver or something else, you're going to booger it all up. However, they do have the new battery doors. If you want to get with Steiner, they'll send you one, supposedly. So I'll probably be doing that. To adjust it, super easy, flathead. Flathead, you could probably use a 9mm casing. I think you might be able to. I would still probably use the little flathead, screwdriver. But there's that. Here's your window. It is definitely a bigger window. We'll do a quick comparison. It is a bigger window. Let you see it. As far as the box around it, it looks a bit thinner than this one. You can see this is kind of a chunky boy on the sides. This one is a bit thinner. Not as much plastic on the sides, so to say, or aluminum. So there's that. So the Steiner does have a larger window. Is it, 90 times bigger? No, but it's definitely bigger. Now, the same thing, when I draw this gun, I kind of look at the side. It just draws me right back as I'm coming out like this. I'm looking at the side, going to the window, and then boom, seeing the dot. So I really am enjoying the enclosed emitters. That is not like just a flash in the pan thing. I think it's the future. And the present is going to be the closed emitters. Dirt, debris, mud, lint, anything like that that's going to fall down, it just gets on the back glass and you wipe it right off. I have noticed one thing on this one. As I was shooting it, it's going to be hard to see, but you can see it right there. See that little dot? That's actually a scratch. See the little dot right there on the back of the window that I'm pointing at? That is actually a scratch. It will not come off. So how did that happen? I have absolutely no idea. I didn't, when we were adjusting it, didn't scratch it. The only thing I can think is maybe as I was shooting in the indoor range, one of the casings came back, the ejected casings hit it, bounced off, and maybe scratched it. I don't know, but it will not come off. And the bad thing is the scratch, if you can see the scratch is right in damn line with the dot. So when you're looking at the dot, the scratch is right there. That sucks, but it is what it is. Now, can I still shoot through it? Yes, because you're not staring at the dot, you're target focused, looking at your target, and the dot's simply getting in the way. So now the dot and the scratch are simply getting in the way. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So, but like I said, the nice thing about these, you just wipe there, mud, debris, whatever comes off, and you're good to go. As far as the size, they're both pretty chunky on the side. This one has more of a Battlestar Galactica look, where this, the Aimpoint kind of has more of an industrial kind of look. So this is more modern-y than that. The front kind of has an angle lens, so it's not straight, if you can see that. So maybe this little hood protects a little better. I haven't had any issues with the front at all. So, that is what it is. Do I prefer, and you'll see here I marked this, it hasn't moved once. And again, this one fits right on this Aimpoint ACRO P2 or P1 plate that I ordered from Aimpoint. So I've had no issue with that. Is there one that I would take over the other? This is what everybody asks. This is just my opinion. I feel this one right here, the Aimpoint P2, is physically like your go-to-war, bashing the hell out of it, beating the dog piss out of it. I think that's going to be the winner, in my opinion. Not saying this one's bad, but we all know if you have Aimpoint dots and things like I do, they're indestructible. The Steiner, I'm sure it's very indestructible, but it doesn't have the track record yet. This one over this one has the 1632 large battery. This one has the little battery. The life on this one, the battery life, blows this one out of the water. So that's another pro for this one. The cost is cheaper on this one than this one. MSRP right now is kind of all over the board, or MSRP is like $6.99 for this one, and I think it might be $5.99 for this one. But prices now are crazy. So if you find one, people are wanting stupid money for these. But if you want the larger window, I say go for this. They both carry fine. I've carried both of these. I have no issues. I'm a bigger guy. I'm not a smaller guy. But if you can carry any gun or any big gun, I don't think the dot's going to come into play personally. But I say if you could find either one, I would recommend either one. Just be aware that this battery is not as long as this one. So you could have a backup battery, just carry one with you. And the little tools so you don't damage this. But I think they're both great. I'm really enjoying both of them. The clarity on both of them is really good. This one actually might be maybe a tad better. Maybe. But I think they both look great. I don't have any problems with either one of them. I just kind of wanted to give you some ideas, some of my opinions. I hope it's helped. Let me know below. If you have any other questions, I'll be glad to get back with you and answer any of your questions you may have. But I say if you can find either one of them, get them. And now, this one will fit on the Staccato, the new Dawson Precision mount that they offer. This one will fit on any ACRO mount from what I understand, and this is an ACRO mount on here, and it's totally flush, not tilted like this one was in the beginning. But I say go for it. I think you're going to enjoy either one of these. Some people are like, oh my God, these are so huge, they're mailboxes. They just bug the hell out of me. Once you get used to them, you shoot them, you carry them, all of that goes out the window. I don't even notice how big they are anymore. I really don't. So I think it's just, and especially when they're on camera, they probably even look a lot bigger. I know I look bigger on camera as far as bigger around. But I appreciate y'all so much. Leave your questions, comments below. Hit those like, share, and subscribe. Still growing the channel. I lose subscribers all the time. YouTube's not very friendly with me. Doesn't really like me very much. But I appreciate y'all so much. Remember, an unarmed nation's a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on.